Hi friends, we are reviewing transformations. Transformations is when we have a shape or a series of points and they flip over or they slide or they turn or they change in size. So first we're going to talk about translations. Our first diagram, our first GIF shows a dot doing a translation. It's sliding. We have our original A, and it went left 1 and up 2 to form its image, A prime. Then in this other GIF, we're going to see it start over in just a second. We have a rectangle that's sliding across, and down. And then back to the left and up. So the rectangle just was sliding around the screen. To perform a translation, you are given a rule. The rule here says right 4 and up 3. In order to perform the translation, you're going to move the point 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right and up 1, 2, 3. When I label it, I will put a capital A next to it, just like the original point. And then I'll put a prime mark to show that's my image, my new A. Then I will do the same thing with B. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, and up 1, 2, 3. And we'll call that B prime. C is moving the same way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then I connect the points to form the new triangle. You're going to notice that the new triangle looks exactly like the original triangle. The image looks exactly the same. It's just we slid all the points. Sometimes we're given the transformation already completed and we're asked to write the rule. So the rule here says right 8 and down 2. Well, how did I come up with that? Well, I'm going to put my dot on any point on the original shape. Any point, doesn't matter. I'll pick B. Now, how did I know that this shape right here is the original? Because it does not have prime marks. So I'm going to take my point, my dot, and put it on point B, and I'm going to move it toward the exact same point on the image, so the B prime. And I'm going to count the boxes, and it's moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It moved 8 boxes to the right. So that's where right 8 came from. Then down 2. Down 2. Okay, now I picked B to B prime, but A to A prime and C to C prime would be the exact same thing. A dilation makes an image or a shape bigger or smaller. So you'll notice in this diagram it says dilation with a scale factor of 3. So the original shape is labeled with an A, and I just picked this corner here because it was right on the 2. And when it grows to full size, that same corner is on the 6. The 6 kind of got cut off, so I drew it in. But that's where the scale factor of 3 and is used, we're going to multiply 2 times 3 to get 6. Okay, so the scale factor tells us what to multiply by and how many times larger something became. So our first diagram, it says perform a dilation with a scale factor of 3. Well, I always like to do these, I'll start with A. A is right on a 2. This is an easy one. It's right on the line. It's going to stay right on the line. It's on the 2. 2 times 3 is 6. So I'm going to move this dot up to the 6, and I'm going to label it with an A prime. B is at 3 and 1. 3 times 3 is 9, and 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, so 3 times 3 is 9, 1 times 3 is 3, so 9 and 1. C prime is at -1 and -1. They're both -1s. If I multiply those by 3, I'll get both -3s. So -3, -3, and I'm going to label that C prime. D is at -1, +1. -1 on the x-axis, -1 times 3 is -3. 1 on the y-axis, 1 times 3 is a +3. So my new coordinates for D are -3 and +3. Capital D for a label, and then we'll connect our dots. The next one is a dilation with a scale factor of a half. That means we're going to make a triangle that's half the size of the one that we have right now. So if I'm going to do the coordinates, I'm noticing that x has a x coordinate of -4. Half of -4 is -2. So that's my new x coordinate. The y coordinate is 6. Half of 6 is 3. So those are going to be my new coordinates for x prime. So I'm going to take this dot, x at -2 and +3, and I'm going to label that x prime. I always like the y, or the coordinates that are right on an axis, because then we only have one number that we have to multiply or divide. So half of -8 would be -4. And I'm just going to move that dot right over. So that would be a y prime. Z is at -2. Half of -2 would be -1. The y coordinate is -4. Half of -4 is -2. So -1, -2 is my new set of coordinates. I want to label that as Z prime. All right, let's talk about reflections. A reflection is when the image flips across either the x-axis or the y-axis. So this first GIF that I'm going to show you shows the point A crossing the y-axis. You can see it light up. And what I want to demonstrate with this little line is it's the same distance. So if it's 3 squares to go from A to the y-axis, it'll be 3 squares on the other side, the exact same line. We also do reflections over the x-axis. So you can see A is moving 4 squares down till it touches the x-axis. Then it's 4 squares down to A prime. So that GIF is only showing a single point. This GIF is showing the triangle reflecting over the y-axis and reflecting over the x-axis. So how do you do a reflection? To perform a reflection, you count toward the axis it's telling you to count toward. So if it's a reflection over the x-axis in my directions, notice I've colored the x-axis to draw my attention and my dot toward it. So I'm going to count how many squares down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Now I'm going to count 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to label that A prime. C is an easy one. It's only 1 square. 1, 1. So I'm going to label that C prime. B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Connect the dots, and I have my new shape. We also reflect over the y-axis, so you can see I've colored that green. A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 moves to get to the green y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 moves to get to its new location, A prime. B prime, 1, 2, and 1, 2. C, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I connect. Same triangle, just flipped over. Finally, rotations. You can see that the shape is turning. And we talk about rotations being 90 degrees clockwise, 90 degrees counterclockwise, or 180 degrees. This one is showing 90 degrees counterclockwise. It's very important that you find the original shape that has no prime marks on it to know which direction the shape turned. So the shape started here and it's turning in this direction. And that's very easy to see when it's a GIF. But it's not so easy to see when it's a static image. So how you tell is you find the original letters with no prime marks, and then you look to see which direction the new shape with the prime marks went. Did it go clockwise? Did it go counterclockwise? If it moved one quadrant, that's 90 degrees. If it moved two quadrants, it's 180.